It started off this Monday when I was kind of in a rush. I had to go drop my car off, and my dryer wasn't heating. So I basically just needed it fixed, and I thought I just needed some duct cleaning. So I looked online actually the day before, found a company that looked pretty good. But then on the day of, on that Monday, I just went on a Google search and I just put in dryer vent cleaning or dry duct cleaning in Venice, Florida, which is where I live. Um, and it's they came up first on this search, and it said that they were Google guaranteed, Google recommended type of thing. It said fully licensed insurance, and then they had like over 2,000 reviews, and I think they had 4.8 or 4.9 stars. So I initially kind of just thought, okay, I'll just go with them. I just needed a one-time dryer vent cleaning. And I called them because I was trying to get all my stuff done that morning. So about 4 o'clock, it was just after 4 actually. He shows up and he knocks on the door. He's got his handful of tools and he's got a power shop vac thing. So I showed him where the dryer was. I sort of moved everything out of the way so he can move the dryer out. He never gave me a price quote, or the lady did before he came. So I didn't really think that any suspicious. I thought they're probably around the same price. I was expecting maybe $100 to $200. So as soon as it goes in the washer room, he takes the dryer hose where all the lint goes out, and sort of disconnects it, and then calls me into the room and says, "Oh, this is bad. This isn't going to be our normal sort of $100, $99 job," is what he said. This is going to be $620. So at the time, I was really sort of taken aback, and I thought, well, and then he started saying all the stuff he was going to do, like he was going to give it some sort of primary clean, and then I don't even know if he said he was going to put some coating on it or do something with it, and then a deep clean and all these other things. So I was thinking, well, it's expensive, but it sounds like he's really going to do a lot of stuff, and basically make it good as new. So I agreed to it. I agreed to the $620, thinking, well, it's expensive. It's a one-off thing. So he closed the door, and I was, sitting in the living room, and he kind of closed the door in the washing room, which is a small room, which I thought was kind of odd. And then there was a lot of pounding on the dryer. It sounded like he was rolling the dryer around or something. He was there for an hour, but in the end, he was only there an hour. His kind of demeanor was fairly pushy and rude, and he had a very, very thick accent. He was like a Middle Eastern looking guy with a very, very thick accent. So initially he said, I said, "Do you take card?" Because everybody these days takes card. And he said, "No, I either take cash," which, I never agree with the cash thing, Zelle, or check. So the safest thing I thought was, okay, I'll just pay with a check. So the end of the thing, he puts all his tools away, and he never had a work truck. I initially got suspicious. Unfortunately, I just blamed myself when he quoted me $620. I was just thinking, wow, this is just insane. But, I just thought, well, I'm probably not going to use them again. They're probably just trying to rip me off, but at least they're going to do this job. They say they are. But then as soon as I didn't get the receipt, I thought something was weird. When the dryer didn't heat up, I thought something was weird. Because I told him that. I told him that the dryer's not heating up. That was the whole point that I wanted him to come. So I just didn't feel right about the whole thing. So so then I went and looked more at the reviews and found out that they were totally different. They were for a state park. So I thought, this is not the dryer guy. So I thought, well, maybe somehow they, I don't know, maybe they changed businesses or decided to go into something else. So I looked at the lowest reviews, and there were 3 or 4 lowest reviews, all of 1 star, talking about how much people got scammed and how much of it was a ripoff it was. I knew about that HVAC license that somebody had said somebody had said they called the authorities on. And then when I looked at their listing, I saw, the number of the audience. So after the reviews, when I looked at their Google listing again, they listed a license number, which was the same as the one that this person had complained about on the review. So I just literally just copied and pasted it, found that there was a guy called Charles Thomas. It came up with an HVAC license, and it has his address. It had a place where he worked, and an internet search on that found that they had a phone number and a physical address. They had several addresses. But this Charles Thomas also had his license was also registered to a place in Lakeland. But so initially, what I did before I called him was I called the dryer place. And so I called and said, I just want to say, that the guy that was there really quoted me a really high price. So then she just, kind of chimes in and just says, well, the technician sets the price. I thought, oh, that's totally weird because, I thought it would be billed per hour. I thought it'd be billed for something, or maybe the boss sets the price. So I thought it was weird that the technician sets the price, and all these things just weren't sitting very well with me. So, so then I said, well, my dryer still isn't heating up, and that's the reason that I called you guys. And she said, okay, well, the technician's on another job, he'll call you sometime this afternoon. So I said, okay. So she said, yeah, he'll come around again. And I said, well, I paid a lot of money. So is he, I don't want to be charged anymore because I really paid the money to get the problem solved. So she says, okay, I'll have him call you when he's free. So as soon as I hung up with her, that same cell phone number, the 941 number, calls, and it's him. So I just came to the conclusion that, there was not enough time for her to call him and tell him the story. He must have been right there or something, because less than 1 second and he's calling after I hung up with her. So he says, okay, I can't do today, but I could do tomorrow, which was Wednesday. He said, I can come between 1 and 3. And he said, okay, well, your dryer should be working fine. I completely, cleaned out the duct. And if it's not, then it's a problem with the dryer, not the duct. So I thought, okay, well, maybe he'll come and maybe he'll help out a little bit or something, but at least I know he won't charge me. So, so after I got off the phone with him, I thought, okay, let me just investigate, this guy with the license number and this, I just wanted to confirm with Charles, or he calls himself Chuck, that wasn't, that license number definitely wasn't his company. It wasn't related to him. They were fraudulently using his license, and he said that they were fraudulently using his license. It definitely was his license number. So then what I did, I got off the phone with him, and I immediately called my bank to put a stop payment on the check. He had not. I'll call the police because I've known before people working under these fake stolen licenses and stuff. They can get arrested and they can get fined. So so I called the police, and they told me that because I lived just outside of the Venice city, that I couldn't use the Venice police. I had to use the Sarasota County one. I told him the whole story, and he kind of told me the same thing. He said, well, this guy did an hour of work for you. Maybe you should just offer to pay him $100. And I said, well, no, he scammed me. I saw the license was stolen. I confirmed with the license owner it was stolen. And then the police officer said, well, we can't really determine that, maybe Google just got their license number wrong. Maybe they just got a couple digits out of place. There's no way of me telling, saying that they absolutely forged somebody's license number. So I said, okay. And I said, well, I feel better because I did put a stop payment on the check. And then he goes, well, if you're not going to pay him, that's between you and him. And, the worst he can really do is take you to civil claims court and try to get the money from you. I said, well, he's coming here tomorrow, meaning Wednesday, between 1 in the afternoon to 3 in the afternoon. I said, I'd appreciate if somebody could be there, to try to get these facts straightened up, and because basically he's using a fake license and he's making money off this fake license. And the cop just said, there won't be anybody there. And so in the end, I just said, okay, well, thanks for your help. I just said, and then he said, oh, I'm looking at the listing myself. Yeah, this was in the middle of the conversation. And he said, oh, you don't need to worry about that. They have a Google guarantee anyway, so Google should pay you back, even if you feel like you got ripped off. So I had looked at the Google guarantee, and I think sometime before I'd actually called him, and it said the only way to really contact Google for this kind of thing is an email, and they'll take about a week or more to respond. So, you don't get through to somebody. Who knows how many emails they're getting? So I just thought it was just a waste of time to try to do this whole thing, and then it ends up, I never hear back from anything. So, because I gave this guy the check, it had the routing number and the account number on it. I thought, well, just in case he's got these two numbers, and I don't know if he could do anything with those. I had to close my whole bank account, open up a new one, and transfer money into this new one and everything. So now I'm trying to, change all my direct deposit stuff, all my bill stuff, and everything. So it's really been a hassle. So
you're out, whatever the fee for the check is, you're out your time. You have an unrepaired dryer. You have some concerns that they may come after you. What would you tell to the next person who goes to Google and searches for duct cleaning? That elderly person down the street from you. What would you tell them?
Well, I would basically say in the future, just to get a recommendation, because what I did yesterday was
from a friend, you mean, or
from a friend.
So much for the Google guarantee and 2,000 some odd reviews, huh?
Yeah. No, I was pretty shocked, but I knew that there was no way to there was no point giving them a bad Google review, because they had over 2,000 like 5-star reviews for the state park and restaurant and stuff. It would just be buried. So there was no point in doing that.
All right. Well, no police, no Google. You're on your own.
Yeah, you basically are. The only thing that I'm just really pleased is that I just got the suspicion early enough. They were dumb enough to put a license number that gets right back to somebody. I was able to call that person just really, really quickly. Got the confirmation that they were not using his license legally, that they just basically stole his license number. I don't know why they picked his license number. And then immediately, my bank so far has been really good at just being there and just stopping the check. The police were no help. Google, I didn't try the email thing. I just thought it was useless.
But Google did say that they checked their insurance, checked their background, checked their license. So
that was one of the driving factors that that made me go with them. If they were 2 stars or something, or 1 star and just a random listing, but no, they came up the first listing. Google verified, Google recommended, Google guaranteed. If they don't do their job right, Google gives you back the money. That if I hadn't seen that, I would have just brushed right over them. Even though they were sponsored, they got right on top. Just because they're sponsored, these companies, doesn't mean they're the best. It just means they could pay normally. But yeah, if it wasn't for the Google guarantee, I would have just really brushed right past. The 2,000 reviews, 4.8 stars and stuff, plus a Google guarantee, those are the 2 reasons why I went with them. Never heard of that company before. Just it was the Google guarantee and those reviews, or the review listings, the 4.8 stars, before I realized that they weren't related, was why I picked them.
All right. Well, thank you very much for sharing your story, and I hope you have a happy holiday, and I'm glad you canceled the check.
Thanks so much. Yeah, anybody who did it, I'd recommend that's the first thing they should do. Just cancel the check. If anything, then that business has to call you to figure it out. That's, at least you've lost any money if you do that.
All right. Thanks again.
All right. Take care.